In the early hours of January 3, 2026, reports emerged of a dramatic U.S. military operation in Venezuela. President Nicolás Maduro, the longtime leader of the beleaguered South American nation, was captured by U.S. forces in a swift and surgical strike on Caracas. Explosions lit up the night sky, and within hours, the Venezuelan government condemned the action as an imperialist invasion. 35. President Donald Trump, in his characteristic style, responded via a press briefing, framing the operation as a necessary step to combat drug trafficking, election fraud, and regional instability. 1. The world watched in stunned silence as U.S. Army ground forces initiated operations, marking what some analysts are calling the first major foreign military engagement of Trump's second term. 24. But amid the geopolitical shockwaves, a quieter conversation has erupted in religious circles. Could this event have been foretold in the Bible? For years, prophecy enthusiasts have scoured ancient scriptures for signs of modern events, and Venezuela, rich in oil but plagued by crisis, has increasingly appeared in these interpretations. From the tribe of Asher's prophesied abundance of resources to the apocalyptic imagery of Revelation's beasts and horsemen, some claim the U.S. strike aligns eerily with end times predictions. Others dismiss it as coincidence or forced exegesis. This article explores the question in depth. Did Scripture truly foretell a U.S. strike on Venezuela that no one is talking about? We'll delve into biblical texts, historical context, current events, and expert interpretations to unpack this provocative idea. At around 3,500 words, this piece aims to provide a comprehensive, balanced examination. The Venezuelan Crisis, a powder keg ignited. To understand why Venezuela might feature in prophetic discussions, we must first grasp its modern turmoil. Once one of Latin America's wealthiest nations due to vast oil reserves, Venezuela has spiraled into economic collapse under socialist policies since the late Hugo Chavez era. Hyperinflation, food shortages, and mass emigration have displaced millions, with over 7 million refugees fleeing since 2014. 2. Maduro's regime, accused of authoritarianism and ties to drug cartels, has drawn international sanctions, particularly from the U.S., which views Venezuela as a narco-state threatening regional security. Tensions escalated dramatically in late 2025. Reports of Venezuelan oil tankers being blockaded by U.S. forces surfaced in December 26, followed by threats from Trump to intervene if Maduro didn't step down. By January 2026, the U.S. authorized a lethal kinetic strike on a narco-trafficking vessel, 42, culminating in the full-scale operation that captured Maduro. Eyewitness accounts describe U.S. drones and special forces overwhelming Venezuelan defenses, with Maduro reportedly surrendering after a brief standoff. 7. This isn't just politics. For some, it's prophecy fulfillment. Social media buzzed with claims that Maduro's fall was predicted by pastors and prophets years earlier. One South African pastor, Dr. Ian Nedlovu, prophesied in 2020 that Maduro would be captured by foreign forces. 30. Revivalist Daniel Adams echoed similar sentiments, predicting Maduro's removal months before the strike. 31. Even Apostle Francis Amuako-Ata foretold a U.S.-led action in December 2025. 34. These prophetic words have gone viral, with videos amassing millions of views. 0. But are these modern prophecies rooted in Scripture, or are they opportunistic? Bible Prophecy 101. Frameworks for Interpretation. Bible prophecy isn't a crystal ball. It's a complex genre blending history, symbolism, and eschatology. Key books include Daniel, Ezekiel, and Revelation, written in apocalyptic style, with visions of beasts, horsemen, and wars. Interpreters fall into camps. Preterists see fulfillments in ancient events. Historicists link to ongoing history. Futurists anticipate future lateral events, and idealists view them symbolically. Venezuela enters this discourse through futurist lenses, where modern nations are mapped onto biblical symbols. The Bible doesn't name Venezuela or U.S. strike, but proponents use typology, seeing patterns or types in Scripture that foreshadow current affairs. For instance, oil-rich nations are linked to prophecies of wealth and conflict. This approach isn't new. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union was cast as Gog from Ezekiel 38. Today, Venezuela's oil, estimated at 300 billion barrels, the world's largest reserves, fuel such analogies. 15. Critics argue this is eisegesis rather than exegesis. Yet, with global tensions rising, wars in the Middle East, alliances like BRICS challenging U.S. dominance, many see prophetic acceleration. 32. Jesus warned of wars and rumors of wars, and Revelation depicts a world in chaos before Christ's return. Venezuela as the tribe of Asher, oil and exploitation. One intriguing interpretation ties Venezuela to the tribe of Asher, one of Israel's 12 tribes. In Deuteronomy 33:24-25, Moses blesses Asher. Most blessed of sons be Asher. Let him be the favorite of his brothers, and let him dip his foot in oil. Your bars shall be iron and bronze, and as your days, so shall your strength be. Jacob's earlier blessing in Genesis 49:20 adds, Asher's food shall be rich, and he shall yield royal dainties. Prophecy watchers like Judah argue Venezuelans descend from Asher, evidenced by their oil wealth. 15. This fits the lost tribes theory, where Israelite descendants scattered after Assyrian conquest and migrated worldwide. Some Afrocentric and Hebrew Israelite groups claim Latin Americans, including Venezuelans, carry this heritage due to transatlantic slave trade mixtures. Deuteronomy 28:49 prophesies a nation from afar, as swift as the eagle flies, that would plunder Israel's descendants, a nation whose language you do not understand. Verse 51 specifies, It shall eat the offspring of your cattle and the fruit of your ground, until you are destroyed. It shall not leave you grain, wine, or oil. Proponents see the U.S. and Spain fulfilling this by exploiting Venezuelan oil. The U.S. strike, they claim, is the culmination, stealing resources under the guise of justice. Historical parallels bolster this. Spain's conquest in the 1500s brought exploitation, and modern U.S. sanctions have crippled Venezuela's economy, indirectly destroying it. Trump's operation, targeting narco assets but securing oil routes, aligns with plundering the oil. Skeptics counter that tribal identifications are speculative. DNA studies show Venezuelan ancestry as indigenous, European, and African mixes, not definitively Israelite. Still, the symbolism resonates in a resource-driven world. The Red Horse and Revelation's Beasts, War and Empire. Revelation 6:3-4 unveils the second horseman. When he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, Come! And out came another horse, bright red. Its rider was permitted to take peace from the earth, so that people should slay one another, and he was given a great sword. This red horse symbolizes war and bloodshed, often linked to communism or global conflicts. Nora L. tweeted that the U.S. strike signals the red horse in action, tying it to Revelation 13 verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon, for he had given his authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like the beast, and who can fight against it? Here, America is seen as the second beast of Revelation 13:11-18, a lamb-like power that speaks like a dragon, enforcing global worship. Julius Assam explicitly connects the Maduro capture to this. America becomes the most powerful, feared, richest, and influential nation, fulfilling its prophetic role. 23. Venezuela's socialist ties to Iran, Russia, and China position it as part of an anti-Western bloc, echoing Ezekiel 38's Gog and Magog alliance. 6. Though Venezuela isn't named, its support from these powers fits the Northern Alliance invading Israel in end times. YouTube channels like Sling and Stone link the strike to broader fulfillments, including Yemen and Iran conflicts. 22. The U.S. action, they argue, accelerates Armageddon, gathering nations for battle. 14. Maduro's plea to Jesus Christ before capture adds irony, seen as mocking true faith. 5. Broader end times context, alliances, and chaos. Venezuela's role extends to global shifts. BRICS nations rallied to Venezuela's side, with Cuba and Nicaragua deploying drones, potentially striking the U.S. mainland. 41. This 10 partly clay toes symbolizes fragile end-times alliances. Moshe Hakon discusses Venezuela-Iran ties, predicting escalation. 17. Iran's support for Maduro, combined with Middle East wars, fulfills wars in diverse places. Nostradamus' 2026 predictions of 7 months Great War and biblical bees add secular intrigue, though not biblical. 33. Christian outlets like Now the End Begins hosted emergency podcasts on the strike, framing it as prophetic. 38. They note America's eagle imagery in Deuteronomy aligns with its actions. Counter-arguments: coincidence or overreach? Not all agree. The Guardian warns of antichrist hysteria in politics, citing figures like Peter Thiel. 39. A South African pastor's failed rapture prediction in 2025 sparked ridicule. 37. Critics like Fuad Alekbadov argue the strike risks self-fulfilling migration and drug crises. 40. Biblical scholars emphasize context. Deuteronomy curses were for ancient Israel, not modern nations. Revelation's beasts likely symbolize Rome or future empires, not America specifically. Prophetic hits, like Ndlovu's, may be vague enough to fit events retroactively. Yet, believers like Csimpini see satanic forces at play, urging side-choosing before judgment. 18. God's sovereignty and missionary opportunities. Amid crisis, hope emerges. The International Mission Board notes millions fleeing Venezuela spread the gospel. 2. Prophetic words from 2019 remind of God's promises for the nation. 8. Chosen People Ministries envisions Middle East peace in stages, potentially extending to global conflicts. 3. Conclusion: a foretold strike or modern myth. Did Scripture foretell a U.S. strike on Venezuela? The evidence is interpretive, not explicit. Oil prophecies, eagle nations, and red horsemen offer compelling parallels, substantiated by recent events and prophetic voices. 9. Yet caution is warranted. Prophecy inspires, but misapplication breeds fear. As tensions simmer, with U.S. forces in Venezuela and alliances shifting, Matthew 24's warnings feel prescient. Whether this is the "no one is talking about" fulfillment or coincidence, it calls for vigilance. Watch, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour.